Hello and welcome to Walkie Talkie, the Walking Football Podcast. I'm Simon Atherfold.
And I'm Dave Brooks.
And our special guest today is a very well-known referee in Northwest circles, a Liverpool fan, a veteran at the park run, an egghead, wasn't supposed to mention that, Mr. Gary Pearce.
Thanks, boys. Thank you.
No problem at all. Right, Gary, let's kick off at the beginning, shall we? Let's talk about your football career, just before you got into walking football.
There wasn't much of a one, to be fair, Simon.
Right, we'll move on then.
Yeah, 11-a-side wasn't much. Played quite a bit of 5-a-side as I got older, mostly in goal. I really enjoyed it.
Yep.
I was never really good enough to play in... If I'd been playing league football, I'd have been in the bottom division, I'm being absolutely honest. But I loved it, and if I got picked, I always regarded it as a bonus. So that was it, really. I did play, a lot of 5-a-side, and then walking football came along, and I thought, well, I can still kick a ball. So I came here, Curzon Ashton, and started here, and I played here for probably about a season and a bit, and then playing at Haywood as a goalkeeper, I injured my shoulder. So I was still coming down here just to watch the games because you get bored. And then I was watching the games, and you'll know this, Dave, the amount of running was off the scale. Yeah. So I decided to pick my whistle back up because I did do about half a dozen seasons of 11-a-side reffing.
Oh, right,
a local level, yeah, not of any great level. And so I already was a referee, and obviously walking football wasn't anything like as organised then as it is now, but nonetheless you still need a referee, and to use an old cliche, any referee is better than none, and I think at that stage I was probably any referee.
And you were a bit like me, you were involved in junior football, weren't you, as well?
Yeah, I've been at the junior club Stalybridge Celtic Juniors now since 1993, so this is my 33rd season volunteering in some capacity as another. 10 years as chairman, 3 years as vice chairman, boys teams, girls teams, and now I'm the caretaker. So
that's surprising. I don't know why I thought this, but I thought you'd been a referee all your life.
He was born like that. He was born with a whistle in his mouth, not a dummy.
You're born as a referee. But,
probably should have been Dave, actually. When a friend of mine took it.
Might have been a bit better.
I think, a friend of mine took it up in his stages, and he kept encouraging me to do it. And at that time, I was still kicking a ball around in 5-a-side, and I thought, no, I can't. I want to play. But with hindsight, I should have gone down the referee road then, I think.
So you started reffing in the club, within the club?
Here, mostly.
So how have you risen from there to the great heights of where you are now then? How have you done that?
I think it's just custom and practice, really, Simon. I was involved in the early stages because the rules, as you know, are all over the place still at the moment. Yeah. But there weren't any of any real consequence then. So myself and a guy who founded the Denton set up, Alan Richards, had a meeting with the referee officer at Manchester County, and we put a set of rules together, basically. And it was basic, but it was a set of rules. Yeah. And it was a starting point. And then I decided, because of the injury to my shoulder, which is fine now, but I decided to just carry on with the refereeing. So I realised I'm a lot better reffing than I am playing.
Well, in the early days, I remember playing in the People's Cup, I think it was 2017, and there wasn't any we had a referee who was about 21.
Yes.
He was peeing down. He had his brolly.
He had the umbrella up, didn't he?
And he was looking at his phone. Mm-hmm. And he didn't know his arse from his elbow, to be honest. It was awful. Yeah. And people were kicking looks out of it.
No, we played in the People's Cup at Hardwick, same thing, and they were local referees. They were 5-a-side referees, therefore they were trying to play walking football with 5-a-side rules, and the result was like World War III.
It was chaos. I played in that. That was before I got injured, and I played in that. And I remember one of our players who was here this morning chasing the referee and one of the other players round the pitch. I'm not going to give you 3 guesses, but you'll probably know which one it was.
No names mentioned.
No, I won't mention his name, but he got involved. So that was it, really. And then from there, the Greater Manchester Walking Football League was in its infancy then. And I've been reffing here for, I don't know, probably 12 months or more. And then I got a telephone call from Bill Mairney, who's the secretary of the league, and said, somebody told him I was a referee and would I be interested in coming to Haywood? And so I said, because you got paid for that. So I went off to Haywood, and I've been reffing at Haywood now for, I think it's 8 seasons, I think. So, I think
I was actually on the radio this morning talking about the Greater.
I was wondering when you were going to mention that.
Talking about the Greater Manchester Walking Football League, and I had to get some facts from Steve Coles before I went on, and it's in its 10th year.
Yes.
And they're planning some kind of 10-year
celebration. Yes, they are. Yeah.
So and it started off apparently with one age group over 60s and 8 teams.
Yes. Yeah.
And now there's 65 teams. 4 age groups.
Four age
And there's a
groups.
waiting list.
Yeah,
Especially,
some of the age groups there is a waiting list.
There
Yeah,
is,
not all,
yeah.
but some of them there's a waiting list, and I think it's testament to the fact that the league in the Northwest has been really successful.
Yeah.
And it's good also, to be fair, it's also good we've got the Bolton League, because that's played at the weekend and it gives an alternative to Hayward, which is played in the week, isn't it? And a lot of people are still working. So we've got this alternative now of all the teams at Hayward and probably more at Bolton, because there's a bigger spread of demographic at Bolton than there is at Hayward.
And there's a few refs from the Hayward League. We call it the Hayward League. It's the Greater Manchester League, like we said. It's a bit quicker.
Yeah,
saying
make
Hayward.
sure you get that right. Your friend of mine,
The Greater Manchester Walking
will be
Football
right,
League. Yes.
right on your back.
They will. They will.
I forgot what I was going to say. Oh, yes. And the testament to the referees in that league is the fact, we're going to come on to the actual course in a minute, but the fact that those referees can be seen bobbing around the country refereeing and all getting good feedback. And it's excellent, really. It is one of the best leagues. I know we all play in it, but it's a cracking league. But just to move on, though, Gary, you also... You're like a referee mentor, aren't you? Is that the right phrase? You run the courses, don't you?
I've run courses for the WFA, and that's because the FA at the time weren't running walking football courses, so the WFA were more active, and they had to my mind anyway, a really good referee course that they could put out. And they approached me and said, would I be interested in delivering some courses in the Northwest? And so I went on a referees training course to train referees, and I did, I don't know how many I've done, probably 10, maybe a dozen different courses.
I was on one of those courses. It's very good, honestly.
And so,
As was I.
Yeah,
you?
as was Dave, yeah. It's great that I'm sat here between two walking football
It's
referees.
a referee sandwich, isn't it? Yeah.
It is really, except I'm the meat in the sandwich, because you pair of beggars don't referee.
No, I don't. No, it's,
I don't like it, and I'll come clean now. I don't enjoy it. I'm glad I've done the course, because even if you're coaching, managing, playing, doing the referees course gives you a different view on things, without a doubt. But I find it really hard. I can work out when people run. It's dead easy. The big thing I have a problem with is the encroachment. Call it contact, call it what you want. Sometimes it's very obvious when someone's gone flying. Other times I'm going, I wouldn't have spotted that. And that's when I find it really hard getting that right. And I think that's probably experience. I don't know. And if I don't ref, I'm never going to get the experience, I suppose.
No,
But,
I always liken it, when we're doing the courses, I liken it a little bit to the current driving test this year. You can sit in a classroom like this and get 100% on your theory. That's great.
Correct.
But when you sit behind the wheel of a car, that's a completely
Absolutely
different
right,
experience.
absolutely
And the refereeing is the same. You can sit in a classroom and pass all the tests and all the videos and everything else. But when you get on that pitch with a whistle in your hand, especially if you've got no other referee anywhere near you, and you're on your own, and it sometimes, even at our age, gets a bit feisty. That's a whole different ball game than sitting in a classroom learning it.
You just very kindly mentioned our age by putting me and Dave in the same age group as you. Funnily enough, I've got a question for you now. Your son plays walking football, doesn't he?
He does.
very
son,
well.
He plays for Bolton Arena, and he's a far better player now than I ever was at any stage in my life.
And if he plays in the over 65s, that would make you 102. So,
Except he plays in the over 50s, but
50s,
yeah.
isn't it?
The
Yeah.
mathematics is pretty sound, though.
yeah, he's a good player, isn't he?
Yeah, he is. My son is a very good player. He's two-footed, and I'm not just saying it because he's my son. My dad was a good player, and he's a good player. He passed me by, unfortunately.
Was your wife a good player?
No.
All right.
No, it depends which wife you're talking about, but no.
No, there's no genetics then.
No.
Right.
dear.
Brilliant. Okay. Right. A tricky question, really. What do you think, if I would grant you a wish, what would be your wish, one wish to make walking football a better sport from a referee's perspective, or just from Gary Pearce's perspective?
Well, I think you're going to know the answer to this, because it's under review at the moment, and that is one set of rules. I think that if you can turn on your television set and watch a football game from any part of the world, and the rules are the same.
It's the same sport then, isn't it?
It's rugby union,
Yeah.
even darts. Now, people say, oh, there's 2 organisations or 3 organisations, whatever. Yes, the same in darts or boxing, but it's still the same rules.
Yeah.
It's the same sport, just different organisations are in that particular facet of it. So I don't really care too much who the organisation of the competition is, as long as I know the rules before I start. But then if I go to a competition this weekend, I'd have to say, what rules are we playing to? Now, I shouldn't be asking that, and nor should the players. We should all walk on that pitch and know exactly like we do when we turn our TV sets on or go to a live game, what those rules are.
So what are the... I'm unclear of what the differences are in the rules.
But there's a lot of local rules, Dave, and that's another issue.
Yeah, there are, but there's a WFA
Yes.
and the FA.
Yes.
What's the difference?
Well, there are differences, and it depends on... I mean, the FA have recently, last February, introduced the 4 walking offence rule, which was a new one. The WFA don't have that.
All right, we play that at England.
Yes,
They brought that in last year.
That's because it's an FA rule.
Oh, I see.
But you touched on it before, Simon. UEFA are looking at the
another
rules.
set, yeah.
And if UEFA bring their rules, if they eventually hold sway, which I assume they could do, they're looking at 5 offences, not 5 runs.
Right.
So apparently UEFA would include everything except overhead height as an offence.
Right.
So if, for example, if the goalkeeper threw the ball at overhead, or you took a kick in with the ball on the pitch, or anything like that, that would be included as an offence.
Yeah.
Now, as far as I'm aware, that hasn't gone any further, but I'm sure behind the scenes there are discussions taking place with UEFA as to what set of rules we're going to play to eventually.
They seem to be tackling the tiny issues and ignoring the massive issues. Because they brought in this thing where the ball has got to be exactly on the line, which is fine. And the substitute one, which we've talked about.
Yes.
And they're kind of important, but there's a massive issue that people don't walk and they're running all over the place, and they don't seem to tackle. They don't seem to tackle the obvious issue.
I'm going to go I'm going to go a little bit left field in a minute, Dave, here on this one.
This is what we want.
Listen. I don't. In theory, at least, I don't disagree with your comments, because you and I have discussed this on several occasions over the last couple of years, few years, whatever. But we are, to use another cliche, we are where we are. And what you're suggesting, although you're right, you're trying to put the toothpaste back in the tube, and it ain't going to work.
Right.
That horse is bolted. You can forget it. There's a school of thought that says, and I subscribe to this as a referee, and I'll explain why, that if you've got one part or one foot on the floor, you are not running. Now, this is a bit selfish, so from a referee point of view, I like that because I can work with that.
Yeah, okay.
I've been reffing now for 7 or 8 years. To blow my own trumpet, by the end of this month, I'll have reffed 2,700 games. So, and that is, like you said before, Simon, it's just experience, Dave, isn't it? Now, there is a thing called, and this is where you don't know, it's called grounded running. Now, I suspect you've never heard of it.
No.
It's something that was first investigated or dealt with, if you like, by the University of Ghent in Belgium. And it basically means that if a runner, this is for running, by the way, not football, if a runner has got one part of the foot on the floor, then there is no flight phase.
Yeah.
So in a normal run, as you know, there's a flight phase when neither foot is on the floor, isn't there?
Yeah.
This grounded running, it was introduced to help older people run, to take off the weight off their body, of them landing from a flight phase.
Right.
And there are pictures online, you can look at it and everything. And because of where we are in walking football, it may well be better, and I know people are going to argue when they see the podcast, it may well be better to say, let's look at this grounded running thing. Is that feasible? Is that the way to go? Because pure walking, as Dave advocates, isn't going to work.
No.
It's just not. You saw it this morning, you see any game, Haywood, Bolton, wherever we go, it's not going to work. We've got to have something that people can subscribe to and look at and say, okay, he's got, his toes on the floor, his heels on the floor, he's not running. Now, I know people are going to argue with it, and you may well, Dave, but that's where we are, unfortunately.
Well, this is really spooky that you've mentioned that, because I've got something, and I've been researching the same thing, and we spoke about it in, I think it was the very first podcast where I mentioned the 4 movements of a horse.
That's right.
Yes.
But obviously, they've got 4 legs and we've got 2.
We had the whole horse's body situation in different things. It was fantastic.
There's 4 stages, but
yeah.
bringing it back to humans, there's a stage in between walking and running, which you've just alluded
Yes, I think
to.
that, yeah.
So,
yeah.
I've researched it, and I'll read you the science bit, and then I'll explain it in plain English. So, humans naturally switch to a jog or shuffle at a specific speed, which often manifests in a shuffle jog. The initial transition might technically be a step where there is no running, but walking begins to disappear.
Yes, that's similar.
Essentially, the shuffle jog acts as an intermediary gait that allows humans to maintain a fast pace that is too fast for comfortable walking. Now, the interesting bit is that this shuffle jog that they allude to is more, it takes less energy than walking fast. Now, again, in the first podcast, we highlighted the Rochdale first team, who were 20s and 30s, you with the Coventry, them ladies from Chelsea, they're all young people. They're able to walk quickly.
Yeah.
Older people find that a bit of a strain.
Yes.
It takes more effort to walk quickly than to do this
Agreed.
shuffle jog.
Yep.
Now, going on from that, I've drawn you a picture.
It gets better. It gets better. This.
It's not rude, is it, Dave?
No,
Thank goodness for that.
it's a work of art. I've drawn you a picture. So we've got walking, we've got running, and we've got this bit in the middle.
That's proper.
This is
Picasso
not a million
stuff.
miles away from what I've just talked about.
Exactly.
Dave, is it?
That's why it's spooky.
But
Because
with
you didn't know I was
illustrations.
No,
mentioning
I didn't know. And
He's backed it up, Gary, with proper illustrations.
So
here.
we've got walking, we've
think I
got
might have a
running,
picture
and
on
this
mine.
bit in between
Yeah, I agree with you.
is what most people do.
Yeah.
This shuffle jog. Now the question is, do we accept this, like Gary is saying? He's saying we accept these two and
Yes.
eliminate them.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Or do we just accept that and eliminate
That's the
that?
grey area at the moment.
Yeah, the bit between the
doesn't
dotted
need to
lines.
be. It
Yeah.
doesn't
Yeah.
need to be. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Also, the other interesting thing is, and you started doing it yesterday, because you ref yesterday, didn't you?
Yeah, I did, yes.
So, and we, again, in the first podcast, we discussed running versus not walking. Now, you as a referee,
I always use not walking.
if I appeal for running, and they're doing this middle one, you're going to look at it there, he's not running. But if I appeal for not walking, and he's doing this, what are you going to do? Because he's not walking.
This is where the grey area comes in, because if I'm saying to you, like I said to you here, when on this thing here, where it says there's no flight phase, and one part of 21% people, one part of the foot is always on the floor.
Yeah.
Now, like I said to you, because of where we are in walking football and the interpretation, not just my interpretation across the country, you're never going to get away from this. That's fine. That's not fine, but you're never going to get away from that, Dave. Never, in my opinion.
So so we can't move away from that.
I don't think so. Not now.
That non-flight, whatever you call
Yeah,
it, and
yeah.
the shuffle jog.
Yeah.
So we've got to accept that. Is
But-
what he's saying.
What we need, everybody, when you watch this podcast, we need you to have some input.
Yeah, we-
really.
yeah, yeah.
Ideally,
We need your
because
feedback on this.
This debate needs to get a bit bigger. I'm not sure which way it'll go, but certainly people need to talk about it a lot more.
Because this is
Let's get the grey area explained.
it's a bit of a game changer,
I
really.
think so. Yeah.
I think it is, but if you look at it, I mean, you've played everywhere. You've been abroad and played in different competitions, and I was over in Spain a couple of weeks ago with the lads doing some friendlies, and I've never... There were expats teams there, and when they were playing each other, before I'd even seen our team play, it was very, very similar to the way we play here.
Yeah.
You know, and the calling out of the running is not dissimilar to here, and I think we've reached, I'm not saying at a level, but we've reached a point where a lot of the teams, both abroad and at home, play in a very similar way.
Yeah.
Some people will always take it over the limit and start to run. Other people, like Dave always says, do the pure walking, especially some older people. But it's never going to be, I don't think, and you'll get lots of comments, I'm sure you will. It's never going to be satisfactorily put to bed, in my opinion.
No.
Well, that's what was driving me mad, because I've seen it done with it, but
Yes, yeah.
until I researched it a couple of days ago, I didn't understand that the reason the younger people can do it and the older people can't.
Yeah.
Because it was driving me mad that we can't stick just to the pure walking. But now I understand it a little bit more. I think we're going to have to accept this.
It's a good piece of work, that. It's a good piece of
It
work.
is, and it ties in with what I said, didn't it? It just ties in.
I think
it's a
that's-
very similar analysis, Dave.
I think on your referees course, I think that should input, because the more referees understand this middle bit,
Yeah. It's only something.
or your definition, whichever
Yes,
definition,
it's very similar.
if they understand that middle bit and the players understand that middle bit, I think everyone's going to be better off.
And again, it comes down to standardisation, not only with the rules, but with the
Well,
interpretation
that's-
of running, doesn't it?
Just going to say that now.
If the FA or UEFA or whoever produce a video or videos of people, like you've said, Dave, that's acceptable, that's not, but that is. And that's the grey area where you're trying to get it right.
Correct,
And I think
correct,
that's ever so difficult.
Yeah.
And another referee, when I'm refereeing, I'll pull somebody for running or not, whichever, and somebody will say to me, well, you pulled it on the other pitch. And you know, and it's almost invariably this grey area that
Yeah.
causes the issue.
Yeah.
I said it's one of the previous podcasts, when you try to introduce or explain to someone walking footballers and they're there watching the game and they're watching, they straight away say that what they're running. And then you explain that, well, no, they're not supposed to. It's like, that's first of all, that's the bit. Then they say, so how does it work nationally? Well, there's 3 different governing bodies, and then there's the FA, right? And then there's 3 sets of rules. One's a European one, and there's 2 sort of. Right, okay. You haven't sold your game to anybody at that point, because like Gary said before, if it's the same sport, like they use a common set of rules, we've got 3 different associations, that's fine. If we could all play to the same set of rules, absolutely 100%, no local rules. Okay, if you're going to play on a pitch that's got boards, I get there might be some safety issues there, that's fine. But you want to have the same set of rules, so wherever you go, you don't have to worry about. I mean, we constantly check with referees, what's the rule on that, what's that, what's that? And then he'll say, I'm playing to the FA rules, and I'll go, oh, which one's that one then? Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
We shouldn't need to do that.
No, we shouldn't
We
either.
should just play football, like you said, association football, or any other sport you name, there's one set of rules.
Yeah.
And in boxing, there's 3 governing bodies playing to the same set of rules.
Yeah.
So we need to get that bit sorted out, really,
Yeah.
ideally. I'm sure this will provoke a lot of response, hopefully. That's why we're doing this.
Well,
So,
it will eventually, whether it'll be in our lifetime or not. Sometimes I despair, but hopefully.
might not be yours, Gary, maybe ours, though. We'll be all right there.
Unless you last another 6 months longer, yeah. You may know that there's a time scale now for doing this.
Right.
You may not have seen the post. It only appeared this week. We're on Friday, aren't we? Probably appeared on Monday, and I must admit I couldn't find it. However, somebody fortunately did screenshot it, and I'll show you guys later if you wish. But there are discussions currently going on between the WFA and the FA to standardise the rules, and it's not, I believe, a million miles away. And I'd have to look at the post, but I think the idea is to get the rule for the UK in place before next year.
Fantastic.
So I'll show you later, because I don't want to go through it now, but it's underway, and it's been driven by the FA, but I'm assuming, because of the fact it seems to be moving forward, that there have been either concessions or something agreed with the WFA that it can go forward. But as you've just hinted, Simon, there's no reason why one set of rules, but you can have 2 organisations. It happens in other sports.
Absolutely.
Doesn't it? So
Brilliant.
Yeah, the organisations can be different, but as you say, with
the rules should be
lots
the
of
same.
the rules are the same. But if it's put out there by one organisation, you can bet your life the other 2 organisations we're not playing to their rules.
yes.
You know, you get all that politics.
That's what we've got now, isn't it?
coming
Bang
back
their
into
heads together.
That's what we've got now, and that's why they need to get around the table.
The rules have to come from the FA because they are the governing body of football
Ultimately,
in
yes.
England.
Everybody's been hanging on for years now for them to do something about the whole sport, and I'm not sure. They seem to sort of dip their toe in it, then come out and then do something
They
else.
were a bit late to the
Yeah.
party.
Oh,
weren't they?
absolutely.
We've got
Absolutely,
we've
they
got
were.
an FA Cup and they've got some referee work going on, but it needs to be done. It needs to grab hold by the scruff of the neck and sort it out properly. Say, this is it. And there's plenty of people in the game who can help them. That's the thing.
Yeah.
It's not
Well,
like
I think they
they're doing it
realise now it's not going away, is it?
No, it's the opposite.
And the reason for I believe there's a piece on BBC Breakfast as well as a radio.
Yes, there was, yeah.
Because some statement from the FA that it's the fastest growing sport in England, possibly the world.
It is.
So they've been attached to that
So
by
they-
association to say this is fast, and we mentioned it. Well, they're not actually doing enough then, are they?
No.
I think Dave touched on the issue. They came very, very late to the party.
Yeah.
They showed some interest, and the other issue was it wasn't centralised. So at the time in Manchester, there was some interest. At the moment, I'm not aware of any. There may well be, but Lancashire have shown a lot of interest, and Lancashire have helped us at Hayward. So, talking to the people at Lancashire, they say it varies from county to county.
I was just going to say
there's
that,
not
it
this
does, yeah.
standardisation.
Yeah.
Some counties don't get involved. Other counties, like Lancashire, are extremely proactive.
Yeah.
So we need that as an FA thing.
Absolutely.
And you've hit the nail on the head there. At the very, very beginning, I'm not sure whether the FA thought, oh, well, it'll be a passing fad. You know, it'll go. But it's not. It's gone the other way, hasn't it?
Yeah,
It's gone exponentially off the scale, hasn't it?
Yeah,
It's gone.
definitely.
Even we didn't think it got to this, did we? We never thought we'd get to this.
Absolutely not. No.
Yeah, and it's not stopping anytime soon, is it? So,
I don't think so,
No, I
no.
don't
No.
either.
No.
Good.
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are we done,
Anything
Dave?
else?
Oh,
Yeah.
you finished with me now, is that
I
it?
think that's it, Gary. I think you've,
Oh, blimey.
anything else you want to
We've
talk
scratched
about?
the surface. Oh, no,
Well,
don't get me started on refereeing. I'll be here all day.
Before we disappear, I have to mention our sponsors once again. We've been sponsored for this episode by the Dale Trust, that's the Rochdale Supporters Trust. So thank you very much for your continued support. And also to our hosts today, we're at Curzon Ashton Football Club, who play in the Northern... What do they play in?
Conference North.
The National League North.
Yeah, I got
National
it.
League. No, it used to be the conference,
Nice,
yeah.
yeah.
We should have been in the boardroom overlooking the pitch, but that got knocked on the head.
That's a
And
shame.
they have a great training facility, which Simon's team, Curzon Ashton Walking Football, they play here Monday, Wednesday and Friday, training.
And Gary Ref's here.
And Gary referees here. So thank
Amongst
you.
other places.
Yes. So thank you to our hosts. And that's it. Have you anything else?
No, that's exhausted everything that I wanted
Okay.
to ask with this gentleman here.
Yeah, thank you.
So don't forget to like and subscribe. And in the next one, we're out on location. And at the moment, it's a secret location.
I want to tell someone, please let me tell them.
All will be revealed.
Tell me off camera, Simon.
So make sure you like and subscribe and don't miss that.
Thanks
Thank you
very
very
much,
much for
Gary.
watching.
Thank you, Gary.
Thanks, guys.
Cheers.
Thanks for
Cheers,
asking
thanks
me
so
in.